beyond everyone's guess. Number 1, Usher. Usher lived with Diddy when he was young.
Right now, he's having 48 hours with Diddy, him and his boy. They're having the times of their lives.
The allegations were revealed today by attorneys representing more than 100 alleged victims who are preparing to sue.
This is one of those stories where, we haven't had this in a long time. Right when you think it couldn't get crazier, it does.
Sean Diddy Combs is facing a barrage of disturbing allegations. Among the creepy facts emerging are underground tunnels beneath his home and shocking claims of sexual assault and trafficking, unraveling a dark and sinister side to his legacy. How much of this is true? A lot of our questions will be answered in the May 2025 trial, so for now, let's dive into some of the lesser-known facts about Diddy. Sean Diddy Combs, once celebrated as a music mogul and cultural icon, has recently faced mounting legal troubles. The allegations against Diddy, spanning decades, even include connections to the untimely deaths of artists associated with his Bad Boy Records label. While his public image has long been that of a successful entrepreneur and music producer, new revelations paint a far more complex and troubling picture.
The 54-year-old music mogul, still locked up, still locked away in the Metropolitan Detention Center out in Brooklyn as he awaits trial on federal sex crimes charges, racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, transportation to engage in prostitution. Essentially, prosecutors from the Southern District of New York allege that Combs used his business empire and resources and associates to lead a criminal enterprise that was engaged in illegal activity like arson, bribery, kidnapping, even the assault and sex trafficking of women, and that this was going on for years. And more specifically, they allege that he brought in male sex workers for these events called freak-offs, these elaborate sexual performances that he forced, threatened, or coerced people to be a part of, even drugging people, filming these sessions. That's what the allegations are. And it's a complicated case.
British TV host Precious Muir has publicly claimed to have witnessed underage girls being drugged and sexually exploited at Diddy's notorious parties. Muir's account is just one of many, with singer Cassie, who dated Diddy for years, also filing a lawsuit accusing him of abuse and exploitation.
And that leads us to the newest allegation, coming from Precious Muir, a British TV host who has thousands of followers on Instagram. Muir says she moved to New York in 2005 and was told that she needed to network to make a name for herself in the entertainment industry. That led Muir to some of Diddy's parties, where she allegedly witnessed some sinister actions, young girls being drugged against their will and forced to have sex. She told the Daily Mail, quote, "I wanted to be invited and be around these amazing and incredible people, so if you had the opportunity, you went. Back then, we didn't have the luxury of social media and Instagram to message a brand directly. Going to parties weren't just an option, but they were part of our job." According to Muir, shuttles or SUVs with tinted windows would pick up girls and take them to these Diddy parties that oftentimes had some major celebrity names. Muir says she was warned not to smoke any weed there because Diddy would apparently sprinkle stuff in it. On top of that, the vodka shots were apparently laced with drugs. At one point, Muir says she had a drink that was spiked, causing half of her face to go numb. She said, quote, "I truly believe that not participating in drugs prevented me from going into a dark place that many other girls went to." During this era, Muir says she met Diddy and Cassie, who were dating. She says Diddy was obviously the leader of the pack, who took advantage of young girls who had showbiz dreams. It didn't matter if the girls were underage either. Muir says it was not a place for children as there was nudity and sex, but that didn't stop Diddy from recruiting young women, allegedly. Muir says, quote, "I saw people hooking up sexually. When I went to the bathroom, I saw condom wrappers and fragments of cocaine on the side with whatever thing they used to sniff it." She went on to say that as the leader, Diddy was never told no. She said, quote, "You can sense that he has a lot of confidence and that he likes to be in control and tell his inner circle what to do. And I don't think anyone ever really says no to him."
Diddy's trial, set for May 2025, is expected to feature testimonies from several victims. Prosecutors will likely focus on presenting strong evidence, including video recordings seized from Diddy's home that reportedly document these abuses. A more mysterious aspect of Diddy's legacy is the so-called Bad Boy curse, which refers to the tragic fates of many artists associated with his Bad Boy Records label. This curse, initially dismissed as speculation, gained traction after a pattern of untimely deaths among artists who had either clashed with Diddy or attempted to leave the label.
New and wild allegations allegations tonight in the 27-year-old Tupac Shakur murder case. According to new court documents obtained by News 3, Dwayne "Keefe D. Davis accuses hip-hop mogul Sean Diddy Combs of paying $1 million in a plot to kill Tupac. Good evening, everyone. I'm Jim Snyder.
And I'm Marie Mortera. Now the lieutenant, first on scene that night almost 30 years ago, was speaking out. News 3's Kalia Patterson joining us here with his response to those accusations.
Jim, Marie, Dwayne Davis, also known as Keefe D, says that rapper Sean Diddy Combs was also involved in that murder of Tupac Shakur. Now, the officer who last spoke to Tupac says that just does not add up with the evidence.
How long would you expect, the rest of the world and the criminal justice system to all sit around and do nothing?
Former Las Vegas Lieutenant Chris Carroll sits down with News 3, unfazed by new court discoveries in the Tupac Shakur murder case. New court documents show that Dwayne "Keefe D. Davis accused hip-hop mogul Sean Diddy Combs of paying $1 million for the killing of the rap icon Tupac Shakur. According to the documents, Davis claims Combs paid Eric Von Martin the money.
I just don't see any proof of it. I don't see it leading anywhere other than the real story, which is that the murder took place with Orlando Anderson.
Davis also claims Combs offered to set up a phone call with Terrence Brown. Brown was the driver of the car that drove by with bullets flying out to Shakur and Suge Knight on the Las Vegas Strip September 7th, 1996.
Former LAPD detective Greg Kading, who investigated these murders, alleged that Diddy offered $1 million to have Tupac killed. Kading also suggested that Biggie's death, which occurred just months after Tupac's, was linked to retaliation in the same conflict. Diddy's former security guard, Gene Deal, has publicly claimed that Diddy had foreknowledge of Biggie's death.
When you steal somebody's dreams, Black Rob probably could have changed his life. Probably could have changed the way he thought. Probably could have changed the way he was doing business if he wouldn't have stole G-Dep from him. If he would have treated Craig Mack in the correct way and not try to steal his music, use him in the way that he used Craig Mack to catapult the Notorious Big, Craig Mack's life could have been changed. If he would have never set up the atmosphere and had Big out there in California and bringing Big to that party, the Notorious Big life may still be here. If he wasn't trying to put the blood.
In December 1991, a tragic incident occurred during a charity basketball game overseen by Sean Diddy Combs and Heavy D at a City College of New York gymnasium in Harlem.
The gym reportedly had a capacity of a little more than 2,700 people. However, nearly 5,000 people showed up and security couldn't control the crowd. When organizers closed the door and stopped letting attendees inside, people broke through the gym doors, rushing into the lobby, causing a stampede. 9 people were crushed to death at the bottom of the staircase, and more than 20 others were injured. Both Diddy and Heavy D, whose real name is Dwight Myers, were cited as being responsible for the tragedy. The two didn't face criminal charges following the incident. However, multiple wrongful death and personal injury lawsuits were filed. Diddy reportedly settled the final lawsuit in 2000.
So we shows up, and I see that the people was already crowded out there, and it was crazy. So I finagled my way in there, me and Slick and them. I said, I told Puff right then and there, I say, Puff, if they don't do a boxing one outside and get these kids off the door, somebody gonna die tonight. He said, Gene, don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. You just handle the stars once they come inside.
And because of that incident, Puffy got fired from Uptown.
Yes, he did. We put him on suicide watch.
Oh, he wanted to kill himself?
Yeah.
I mean, I can imagine. I mean, you feel partially responsible for 9 people dying, including a pregnant woman, which is technically 10 if you think about it.
Yeah. I think that he was on suicide watch because he thought he lost everything.
Yeah, that too.
In an exclusive interview, Gene Deal sheds light on Diddy's troubling behavior when he allegedly lost his temper and attacked a player over a minor foul. This incident is just one of many that reveal a darker side to Diddy, whose public image has been increasingly tarnished by allegations of abuse and exploitation. Deal's testimony adds to the mounting evidence against Diddy, painting a grim picture of his conduct behind closed doors.
And so I need to give you a massive flashing red warning here. What I'm about to say is quite disturbing. There's a lot of uncomfortable language. And if you are triggered or upset by sex assaults and violent assaults, etc., then this is definitely not the show for you tonight. The accuser is named Ashley Parham, and she has agreed to allow her name to be made public. Let's be real clear about that. She is going public with her name. She says that in February of 2018, she met a man named Shane Pierce at a bar, and that Shane FaceTimed Diddy outside on the sidewalk, apparently trying to impress her. But Ashley Parham says that she told both Shane and Diddy on FaceTime that she wasn't impressed. And this is important. She says she believed that Diddy had something to do with the murder of Tupac Shakur, and said as much. Allegedly, Diddy warned her that she would pay for saying something like that. So let's just fast forward now to a month later, where she says this guy Shane invited her to come to his apartment. And the lawsuit says, quote, plaintiff and defendant Shane then began to watch a movie, and defendant Shane offered her a glass of water, which he retrieved and brought back to the plaintiff. A few minutes later, Ashley Parham says that P. Diddy showed up with an entourage, including his top aide, Christina Coram, an unnamed woman who is not a defendant in the suit, and 3 unnamed men, one of whom she says was Diddy's driver, and Parham says that that driver waited outside throughout the whole of what I'm about to tell you. Parham says that Diddy was antagonistic from the start, and that he put a knife to her face.
Many former bad boy artists have spoken out about financial disputes with Diddy, claiming they were exploited and underpaid.
Friends and associates are confirming that former bad boy artist Black Rob lost his battle with kidney disease and other health issues in Atlanta, just as many were realizing for the first time how gravely ill he really was.
Y'all, I'm getting ready to put y'all up on something, man.
Hip-hop fans know former Bad Boy Records artist Black Rob from his 4 studio albums and breakout hit Whoa. What they didn't know was how sick he was. Evident in a video DJ Self posted from his hospital bed, Black Rob was sending condolences on the death of DMX and shocked many by how frail he looked.
Pain is crazy, man. It's helping me out, though, man. It's making me realize I got a lot to go, man.
Diddy's involvement in these artists' careers often left them financially and emotionally drained, with some claiming they feared for their lives. Craig Mack, in particular, described being stalked and threatened by Diddy. This narrative of financial manipulation and bullying has contributed to the growing belief that Diddy's empire was built on the backs of artists who received little in return for their loyalty.
All of these deviants is all catching hell in 2024. It's up for all of them. It don't matter if you Diddy or whoever you is. TG Jakes, any of them. All lies will be exposed. That's all.
Adding to the complexity of Diddy's legacy are the deaths of his ex-partner Kim Porter and his mentor Andre Harrell. Both Porter and Harrell were reportedly working on tell-all books before their deaths, leading to speculation that they were planning to expose Diddy's secrets.
But when you think about Kim, I was thinking to myself the other day, Uptown Records started with 5 people. Andre Harrell, I'll Be Sure, Heavy D, and Puffy. And Kim was the longest working employee because she was there from the very beginning. She was Andre's personal assistant. Kim is dead. Heavy D is dead. Andre Harrell is dead. The only 2 left are Puffy and Al almost died. Isn't that interesting?
That is interesting.
Heavy D was found dead, face down in the heart attack. Andre Harrell, heart attack. Kim died from pneumonia, but there's the first coroner's report that said that she died. It was ruled a homicide, and they found toxins in her body to prove that she had been poisoned. You know, they have poisons that create heart attack and pneumonia-like symptoms. And then right after that, Al had a meeting, and I was gonna meet up with him because we were in Vegas, and then the next thing you know, you wanna know what they all had in common though? The survivors and the late of Uptown Records, they were all writing tell-all books.
Mm-hmm.
Andre was writing a book right before he died. Heavy D was working on a book before he died. Kim Porter was working on a book before she died.
Harold gave Diddy his first big break in the music industry. Harold's death, like Porter's, has been surrounded by speculation. Both were said to be preparing to expose darker aspects of Diddy's life and business practices in their upcoming books. This, combined with the mysterious circumstances of their deaths, has only fueled further suspicion about Diddy's involvement.
But as I said, there were these theories that popped up and continue to pop up, particularly on Reddit, about Porter's real cause of death. One of those people who seem to believe that there's more to the story is who I mentioned before, Albie Shore, Porter's ex. His real name is Albert Joseph Brown. And after Combs' arrest, Brown posted on Instagram, quote, "In a nutshell, Kimberly was allegedly taken from us because she was set on course to accomplish what Mrs. Cassie Ventura did by igniting the bonfire which brings us here today." Now, Ventura, of course, is Combs' ex-girlfriend who filed the initial sexual assault, sex trafficking lawsuit against him last year, and that spiraled into multiple other lawsuits that have hit the rapper, and this, of course, culminated in these federal charges that he now faces. But Brown writes, quote, "I am writing this post to formally request an investigation into an entire group of individuals who worked at or around the residence of Miss Kimberly Porter." And then he called her death a tragic murder.
Amidst these allegations, lesser-known details about Diddy's personal life have surfaced. One of the most unsettling is the existence of underground tunnels beneath his home, where some of his infamous parties were allegedly held. This paints a picture of a man whose personal life is as controversial as his professional one.
Guys, they found underground tunnels at Diddy's homes. This was first brought up by Shadow of Ezra, where he talked about the underground tunnels in Diddy's luxurious Los Angeles mansion. It was an underwater swimming tunnel leading to a mysterious grotto, reminiscent of an ancient and modern human use of caves. Now, this is all alleged, of course, but they say that this tunnel connects to the Playboy Mansion. You guys remember that? Hugh Hefner, the guy who lived with all those women in his mansion? There's no available evidence right now. However, reports are noting that Combs' mansions do have a pool with an underwater swimming tunnel. They say it's not connected to the Playboy Mansion, but there is a reason why the Playboy Mansion keeps coming up. 10 years ago, they were building underground tunnels to the Playboy Mansion for people like Jack Nicholson for his birthday. So this way, they don't have to go through the outside, but go underground in secret to the Playboy Mansion to do God knows what. You can see the sketches here of these underground tunnels being built. They were working on it, and it was supposed to connect celebrities like Jack Nicholson, Warren Beatty, Michael Jackson, just to name a few. As reported by People magazine, these underground tunnels to the Playboy Mansion were sealed off in the 1980s. The question is, do you believe that?
Diddy's influence has extended far beyond music, but the recent accusations have cast a long shadow over his once celebrated career. As the legal battles continue to unfold, the world is left to grapple with the unsettling truths about a man once revered as a music industry titan.
The wall of silence has now been broken, and victims are coming forward. Our team has had at this point more than 3,285 individuals contact us with people claiming to have been victimized by Sean Combs. We now represent 120 individuals who intend to bring civil claims in civil court against Sean Diddy Combs, as well as claims against many other individuals and entities that we will name as defendants as we file these individual cases. I expect that through this process, many powerful people will be exposed. Many dirty secrets will be revealed. We know what we are potentially up against. As is always the case in situations like this when a celebrity is involved, people can be downright mean and nasty. You'd be shocked at the length fans will go, no matter the evidence to the contrary, to defend celebrities they love. I mean, there's a reason for this word fans. They're fanatics. I've personally already been threatened multiple times on social media. And when I agreed to pursue this, I expected as much. This isn't my first rodeo. But victims who step forward to have their voices heard should not be subjected to that kind of conduct. They should not be targeted.
That's it for now. Don't forget to tell us what you think in the comments below. For more updates, hit the bell icon.